No, you're not the only one who thought I might be here with a baby this week. Well, maybe not filming quite yet, but snuggling a baby at home. The way my last vlog was going, that looked like the direction we were heading. In fact, I thought maybe it was the start of labor as well. However, unfortunately, things kind of just dwindled after that. Till the next morning, felt like he's right back up in my ribs, my gallbladder. So we are back to waiting. Who knows how long? I feel now like it'll be at least March. Like I'll probably go weeks overdue. I have 3 due dates actually, 2 main ones. And so technically I could go till at least the last half of February, which in my mind feels like it may as well be March, but it's okay. We'll take it one day at a time. And today I wanted to film this video for anyone, but especially for any first-time moms, because I wish I had had this when I was getting ready for my first baby. If you are new here, I am very pregnant with baby number 5. So I have done this 4 times before, and just over the years kind of learned things that I actually really use for my baby, and then a lot of things that I got the first time that really just added kind of clutter to my mind and to my home. So I want to go over that today. I want to share with you everything that I got for baby number 5, as well as in the end, I think I might go over just a couple of things that pop into my mind of things I'm not buying that are pretty popular, like baby items. You are your child's best mother. I know that there's so many opinions, and sometimes you can feel judged for decisions that you're making for your baby, and that is not what I'm here to do today. Some things that I mention might not be necessary for you, and a lot of things that I don't mention maybe are important to you. So I hope that you take this as a place of just like recommendations and like kind of tried and true things for me. That will vary from person to person. To get started, I'm going to first up, I think, grab clothing, blankets, that kind of thing, and we'll go through that, and then we'll go through some of the bigger items. Okay, let's talk about clothing for a second here. I want to show you just a really quick overview of what I got, going pretty quickly, starting with sleepers. So these are all of his tiny little newborn sleepers. Actually, I think some of this might be, yeah, this is actually 0 to 3. I like to put like 2 sizes in at once, so I'll do newborn and 0 to 3, and then once I take out newborn, then 3 to 6 comes in, just because I find that brands vary a lot as far as sizing goes. So I've had too many times where I've missed really cute outfits because I didn't have the right size in my drawer. There we go. This is a newborn. How adorable and tiny. I really like the zipped sleepers. They make for easy diaper changes, especially when it has like the 2-way zip, and then also the footed onesies. This one also has the little flips for his little hands to keep them from scratching their dear little faces. So those are a couple things that I like to look for in sleepers specifically. I have 8 sleepers here for him, and some babies spit up a lot more than others, and so I might have to add a couple more, might not, depending how he is, especially considering that I have some also 0 to 3 in here. But I like to just have these basics on hand. That's one thing that's very different by baby number 5 than my first baby. Was first baby, I had all of these like outfits like all the time, which was cute but not comfortable. So I have gotten a lot pickier with fabrics that I like to wear on them. For example, I did pick up one of these at a thrift store, and in fact a lot of these things are thrifted, but this is actually a corduroy. I don't know how well you can see that fabric, which is really cute, and I thought, yeah, like maybe for church sometime would be really sweet. But I used to wear my babies in things like this all the time, and there's nothing wrong with it if that's your thing, but it's just a lot more like stiff of a fabric and not as comfortable as something like this. So that is something I try to keep on mind. I have a lot of these kind of legging type of pants. So these are all of his pants, by the way. A little cute pair of overalls in here too. So you can tell I love my neutrals I just love neutrals, but also it makes it really easy to mix and match. And then I have a stash of onesies here, which you need a lot of onesies. A lot of times people like to wear onesies underneath of these as well, which probably depends on the weather. I've never actually had a winter baby before. So far, all my babies were born June, July, and August. And so this is kind of new. I actually picked up a little snowsuit for him as well, which, how sweet is this? I saw that these are still in stock at H&M, but I actually picked this one up at Once Upon a Child, and it's in brand new condition, I would say. So anyways, that's so adorable. I have to show you this. Is this not the sweetest little beanie you've ever seen? I was trying to find like a warm winter beanie on Amazon, and they were all too big, but then I got this one off Etsy. Olive and Cradle is the name, I guess, of the company, but it's so tiny. Anyway, so this will be cute for, you know, taking him outside. I do have something else along those lines I want to show you later, but all that to say, onesies are pretty like staple piece in the baby's closet. I do need to get a couple more of long sleeve onesies. I don't really have, I think maybe I have one. And then I have a couple of like sweater items. These are so cute. This one I've had for at least my last baby too. I don't know, it might be more than that. This was the first thing that I picked up after my first ultrasound, I think it was. So that's kind of a special piece. And then another little sweater, knit one, as well as this one. They are so sweet, and something that I've actually got a lot pickier about by my 5th pregnancy now is the fabrics in these clothing items. And so I couldn't care less if things were like polyester or all these synthetic fabrics, and I've changed that both in my own wardrobe as well as those of my kids, but I try to lean a lot more into like cottons and linens and like all those natural fibers. This one is from Jamie K. A lot of these are thrifted, but some of my favorite places would be Jamie K for like a small shop. I love shopping small when I can, but obviously they're a lot more expensive. They run a good sale, I want to say a couple times of the year. So it's nice to keep your eyes open for that and then kind of stock up when you can. Otherwise, I would say H&M, and I've also got a couple of things from Old Navy. I don't like supporting big box stores like that just because of, you know, sweatshops and the way that their clothing gets there, but I have purchased a couple of things through them as well. Oh, this is actually one of them. How sweet is this? This is from H&M. This is organic cotton. How sweet is that? It actually goes with these. So cute. I still sometimes feel like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I'm actually having another baby. Like, it feels so surreal. Anyways, moving along, I am big on baby hats. So something that I grew up, like I remember mom putting my younger siblings always wearing a hat when they're a newborn, and then my second born was born at exactly 37 weeks, and he struggled keeping his temperature steady at first, and so it was very important to always keep a little hat on him. Obviously, we're past 37, we're past 38 weeks, and so it's not so much a concern for the preemie side of it, but with it being cooler outside, and you can actually lose a lot of heat out of your head. And so I love having little hats to put them in. I have a couple of these. I think this one I've had for at least a few babies, of these kind of like hospital style newborn hats. And then also these are kind of more of a bonnet. I have a couple colors of them here, and that's really sweet. These are really soft, and these are from Amazon. So I will link my Amazon storefront down below. I have a lot of baby items linked in my storefront there if you're looking for some of these things. And then I did purchase, like I said, a couple off of Etsy. So first was this little very cute beanie. And then I also got this. I could not resist. I guess I'm just a sucker for accessories sometimes. How sweet is this little bear hat? I think it's adorable. And then another one, just kind of a knit bonnet type thing. They're so tiny. So that is something that I'm pretty big on. I like to have a couple on hand so that there's always some clean and ready when they need it. Kind of with that, for the last couple babies, I've had a pair of these little crocheted booties. These are just off of Amazon. I hope they hold up. I was actually having trouble finding some in his size. I know there's some on Etsy. They're pretty expensive. So I thought, you know what, I'm gonna try these first. They came with one of the little mittens as well. If they don't hold up, then I'll maybe order some that are more expensive. But these are great for keeping babies' little feet warm without being like those clunky shoes. Because again, I'm going for comfort, which is also so cute. I love the look of these on babies. But instead of like shoes, even the soft sole shoes are just not quite this. So love those. I have some socks, just same old socks I bought for 5 babies now, I think. And then I do have some pacifiers. I only have 2 of them here. Only one of my babies has ever taken a pacifier, and so I'm like, you know what, I'll try it. It's funny because they all had something different that would comfort them, and I think sometimes, especially when you're first going into motherhood, everything seems so like generic, like this is how babies are. But after you have a couple babies, you realize that they can be so different, not only in whether or not they like the pacifier, is like sleep schedules, temperaments, things that comfort them, like just all the things that in a sense you're relearning. But one thing that I've noticed a huge difference in after having a number of babies is that you do get more relaxed as time goes on. And I remember as a first time mom just being like freaked out a lot of the time. Like, is this normal? Like, what does that mean? Should she be doing this? Whatever. And after a while, some of those things you are more at ease at, more familiar with. But pacifiers is one that's always up in the air. So I'm just starting with 2. If he likes them, great. If not, no problem. And then I just have some of these. First up are these burp cloths. Now, one thing I would recommend that I did not know with my first baby is to make sure that they are a good size. So these are already washed, already put in the dryer. They are that like super soft muslin fabric. You can kind of probably see the texture in there. So very soft for baby to lay his head on, but then they're big enough to actually drape like this across your shoulder and burp your baby on. I just had burp cloths maybe this size when I had my firstborn. That's a tip I've learned that would have saved me some outfits had I known. And then same, very similar idea. These are also off of Amazon, just little muslin washcloths, which again, first baby, I got scratchy little washcloths and all the cute little patterns and colors. But by baby number 5, I'm going for something much softer on the skin. And then we have diapers, again, very generic. I'm not gonna say much about these. I know some people do like all this research into like best diapers, whatever. This is one of those things that I started off with Huggies newborn diapers. They've never given my babies rashes or I've had trouble with them, and so I've just kind of stuck with them. I do have some Honest diapers here as well, which I think is a bit of a cleaner brand. And it's something that I should maybe look into more because I know that, yeah, there's, I think, chemicals in some kinds and stuff, but it's just not something that I have really looked into. I have never done cloth diapering, which I know can be another kind of hot button subject, but I think it's just like all these other things, like we do our best with what we know and then try not to stress out about the rest. Car seat cover slash nursing cover. I really love these. This is one that goes all the way around. I've had too many times when I'm wearing a nursing cover that's just like around the head. When the baby gets a certain age, they will flip and flap it because I don't wear a nursing cover at home, and so they're like, what's going on behind here? And we'll just flash whoever's around. And so this one goes all the way around and you don't need to worry about that. You also don't need to worry about like your shirt. Sometimes if you're wearing two pieces, the shirt comes way up in the back. And so this, I just love this for full coverage. I would have used this also for like a car seat cover. Say I'm going shopping with like a really new baby. I don't like all the germs around, and so this is great for that because they still, obviously you can peek in at them, but they're just a little bit more covered. And then as they get older, I love to also use these in shopping carts, again, for the germs. And so this is a pretty versatile piece, and I think this one was only like $8 on Amazon. So I was excited about that. Next up, another super big staple that I did not have with my firstborn, used all the time till my fourth, and that is a baby wrap. I know people are also very opinionated on the kind of baby wrap. This is tuck and bundle wrap. I loved this one. I think it works similar to the Solly, but I've never actually had a Solly. So this one, it's just a long piece of fabric basically, and it's super soft, very easy to put on. My babies loved this. I don't know till what age they're recommended to go in here. I know some people get like a more sturdy one after, which maybe I will, because I think I was getting some back pain. I believe I wore Abby in here until she was like a year old. You can also do like front or in the back, have them facing front, have them facing you in different ways. So love those, and definitely would call a baby wrap pretty essential for motherhood, and especially if you already have more than one baby. Crib sheets. I have two different ones. I got this one because I loved the pattern on actually the other one, which is in the crib. I'll show you that here real soon. But this is an organic jersey, I think it said, and people were raving about it being so good. Honestly, know how much I'm going to use these because of the fabric. Again, I prefer more natural fibers like this one, which is the muslin, and just so soft. Like this one feels almost a little bit waxy, and so I'm not quite sure what that's all about. All that to say, this one might be on my crib a lot more, but I couldn't resist. The other one has like the sweetest little rabbits on it, and I couldn't get it out of my head. They weren't very expensive, so I justified it. Swaddles. I know some people are very big on swaddling, and some people are very against swaddling. So I would say just, I mean, do your research if you want to. I have always been a swaddle mom. I remember my mom swaddling my siblings. The babies love that just kind of cozy, kind of like womb-like sensation. Which, interesting fact, one of the things I've never bought for my babies is sleep sacks, which I know are very popular. To me, that's what the swaddle does. So these are actually all off of Amazon. Isn't that such a pretty color palette? I love it so much. It's a little bit later now, but I wanted to clarify about the swaddles. We do not use them extensively. They only use them the first couple of months. As soon as they can start rolling over, then I will not swaddle them anymore. And then one thing that I do still need to get is a heavier blanket for him. I only have swaddles for him. And then this one, I couldn't help but put it in the stack. This is just a really sweet one because Josh actually cross-stitched this when he was, I think it says on here, was he 9? 8. He was 8 years old. I don't know if you can see that, but I just think it's the sweetest thing that he, as a little 8-year-old boy, cross-stitched this little quilt, and now his little son might use this. I'm thinking maybe more like, you know, when he gets a little bit older outside for maybe a lawn blanket, or like it's not super thick, but I couldn't help but add that to my little stash. So that wraps up all of my clothing. So let's move on to feeding. This one will vary so much as to what you're doing, if you're breastfeeding or formula feeding, as well as like even your amount of supply. I honestly usually regulate fairly quickly to where like just padded bras are enough. I don't even usually need a ton of nursing pads after the first couple weeks, but I do have my Haka, which this again is one of my top 5 items I would recommend to a new mom. It's basically just this little milk catcher. So when you're nursing on one side, you put this, you just suction it on to the other side and it will catch any milk that you're dripping while you're nursing the other side, and you can actually collect an amazing stash of freezer milk just doing that. You're not pumping extra, you're literally just catching what would otherwise soak into your nursing pad. With that, I have some breast milk storage bags, and these are just nice to have these specifically because you can date them and all of that stuff. And then I did pick up 2 of these little bottles. I've always breastfed exclusively, but I do love to be prepared just in case of needing something. So these are the little ones that are supposed to mimic the shape of your breast, as well as I believe the nipple is supposed to mimic. That way, if you would need to supplement, it's not supposed to cause as much like breast confusion and some of that as some others. And then we just have a nursing pillow. Again, you could just use any pillow, and I never actually have used a pregnancy pillow, which I know some people are like, oh, that's such a must. I never have, but for nursing, I feel like this does really help. I noticed that when I don't use my nursing pillow that my upper back tends to hurt a lot. And I think it's just because as you're nursing, you're naturally kind of slumping if your baby isn't up high enough. And so this can just really help with that. Plus they can lay comfortably. There is a brand of nursing pillows, Baby Hug Me, I think it's what it's called. First of all, they look really cute. I love the idea of them, but they are very expensive. So I've used a Boppy ever since my first, and you can switch out the covers and wash the covers and stuff, which is nice. So it's not as fancy as some that you could get. You just have to pick and choose what you're gonna spend money on, what's most important to you, and what you can do with less. So moving on to, well, actually let me show you the car seat and stroller, because we actually had the same exact car seat for all our babies and then got rid of it after Avi was born. And so now we're starting over with the car seat, and we ended up, this is the Maxi Cozy. I don't know, you can see it right here. I have it linked in my storefront as well, but I love this one. It is so cute. I did also order this little car seat cover. Again, never having had winter babies, I haven't needed one of these, but I thought it would be really nice for the cooler weather. You can just tuck them in like this, the little face peeping out, and you can also even, if it's really windy outside, put the flap down. So I love that. That stroller you can also switch as far as turning it into a bassinet. I don't know, there's a couple different options. So that is also linked in my Amazon storefront. Cannot wait to use that. And then our crib. So with my first baby, I set up this grand nursery, painted giant crib, like all the bells and whistles. And then till about our second born, I discovered that what works a lot better for us, and again, this doesn't have to be how it works for you, but has been a game changer for us, is just to have one of these little mini cribs. You have to show you this mattress. This is the bed sheet I was talking about. Can you even believe how cute that is? I think it's adorable. Having a little mini crib beside us, Josh actually takes the one long side off and attaches the crib to our bed. Bless his heart, he is so good with that kind of thing. That just makes it really nice for like co-sleeping, because we'll lift the mattress up to the same height as our mattress, so they're in their own little space but right next, and so I don't even have to get out of bed in order to nurse them. And so that has worked really well for us. I absolutely love that. We'll usually do that till they're about 6 months old or so, and then move them into another room. Let me know if you'd like to see a video that has more like postpartum things as far as like recipes or how I keep up milk supply, or you know, some of those essentials. But for now I'm just gonna share this one, which is a belly wrap. You can adjust it well because it has all the different velcros and areas that you can kind of pull in. And after having especially a couple of babies, but even after my first, I think I had this and loved it, just to kind of help pull all those organs back in and just feel more put together. Let's talk diaper bags for a bit. So I have this is the Mini Bay diaper bag. Really love it. It is like the backpack style. Love all the compartments, love the size of it. Again, I've had these giant diaper bags that are like practically a carry-on suitcase. And it's just something to keep in mind. Like, people's needs will vary with what they need to take along depending on how many kids you have, how young your kids are, how much your baby spits up, like all these different variables, right? So I would just recommend finding one that fits you well. And then a couple things that I don't have with me, but I would highly recommend. First up, the nose Frida. Yes, it's disgusting. Little secret, Josh actually uses it when we need it because it's too gross for me. But it is essentially a snot sucker. Look it up. It's gross, but works really well. And then second of all is a baby swing. Again, maybe not considered essential, but you do want a safe place to lay your baby. Sometimes your back gets tired after baby wearing all day long, or you're just trying to get ready, or you're taking a shower, and it is really nice to have a nice place that your baby enjoys for them to rest. So I used to do all the things like the bouncers, the baby bumbo, like all the things. I've gotten rid of those things since, but I do like to have just like one like swing or seat or like something for them to safely sit in. And it's also can be a nice place for them to interact with their siblings, playtime, things like that. Anyways, I hope that was helpful. Just for fun, let's talk a little bit about things that I'm not buying for baby that are very popular. The first one that comes to mind is I don't even know what it's called, but I think it's called the Snuggle Me, nope, like it's a lounger thing. You know what I mean? Little mattress thing that they put inside of the crib, or sometimes in DockATot. DockATot? Is that it? Maybe? Do you know what I'm talking about? Anyways, they are very expensive. A lot of people love them. I have never used them. Maybe I would love it if I had, I don't know. But it's never something that I've used, and so at this point, I don't plan to bring it in now either. Another thing that I know a lot of people love is like a baby bassinet. So like a Moses basket. You can get them even like a playpen I don't own anymore. I feel like if I have my mini crib and then some sort of baby swing seat situation, that's all that I need. And adding another thing like that would just add clutter. I also, like, I've never had a Moses basket, so I might be wrong, but the sides feel really flimsy to me. And I feel like with all the other kids like wanting to love on the baby and bending, like leaning over the basket and stuff, that it would easily just like cave and like lose its shape. Another one that might be surprising is I've never used a sound machine. So I know that this is one that a lot of people really, really love. It's funny because this is one that my husband is actually really opinionated on, and he's like, no, let's not get them used to it because then they'll have to have it. And I think it's so true. My babies can usually sleep through anything because they're used to a lot of noise in the house from their other siblings. And so that's been working well for us. I have gone shopping before with moms that have sound machines attached to the car seats or to the stroller. They have to have them whenever their kid is going to take a nap and all of that. And I have grown to become grateful that we never got started along that, just because if it's not necessary, then it's just another thing to remember, just another thing to plug in, just another thing to put batteries in or charge. And so that's another thing that I personally would not deem as important. I don't really like saying the things I don't buy because I don't want it to come across as like judgmental towards those that use those things, because like I said, different things work for different families. I feel like you get pushed so much things like, oh, your baby needs this to develop properly, or they won't ever sleep well unless you have that gadget, or they, you know, all these things. And that's what I'm just trying to kind of counteract. It's okay if you don't need all these things. It's actually beautiful if you don't need all these things. Another thing is a changing pad. I had one, again, like I said, the first probably 2 babies, and then just realized our bedroom and the baby's room was always on the 2nd floor. And so I would find myself just using the couch, using the floor, using the bathroom counter, like things like that. And the changing pad actually didn't really get used. And so by now we're at the point where like, just lay out one of their blankets, like you have the swaddle with you anyway, just lay them on that, change their diaper, and yeah, we no longer have a changing pad and I don't miss it. And with that, the diaper what's it called? Diaper Genie, Diaper Pail, whatever you call the thing that you put the diaper in and it seals over, whatever. That whole thing we had at first. And I am so happy to be rid of it. It is basically an excessive piece of plastic from my experience. I will just use the regular trash can and then we take out trash like once a day so it doesn't get stinky and actually has a lot less odor involved with it in general than one of the Diaper Genies. Okay, I could probably go on and on, but I think the final one I'm going to talk about on here is a baby bathtub. I find that to be another extra piece, but it also reminded me that I forgot to mention it in things that I would recommend for baby, and that is a bath sponge. So you can just wring it out after their bath, which is usually happens in the sink. Once they're a little bit older, I'll put just a tiny bit of water in the tub with a sponge, but that has worked really well. It's literally like $8, I think, on Amazon. Something that I wish I had had with my first baby. So anyways, I hope that this was helpful to you. I'm gonna sit somewhere else. Couldn't stand the lighting getting all dark on me. I know that there's some moms that would be like, oh my goodness, all the things on your not necessary list are on my must-haves, and all the things on your must-haves I don't think are important. And that's okay. That's part of the beauty of motherhood. I guess I would just recommend, if you are a first-time mom, to start small and then build on that. And don't feel the pressure to go out and buy like everything on everyone's baby registry. I hope that this was helpful. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye, friends.
Golden, golden thing.